Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. The message reads like this: Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am a young South African woman, so I was always like on TikTok. But then I came across this other channel. So this channel that I follow, it also posts your confessions. So when I kept on listening to these stories, that was when I thought of giving you my own confession. But this story of mine, it happened between me and this other guy that I was dating, who is from Zim. This was after I had finished my matric. This guy, he just came into our neighborhood. So at our house, we had like a small spaza shop. The guy would come sometimes to buy airtime, bread and stuff like that from my spaza shop. Everyone just knew this guy because he used to go around our location with his lawnmower doing some piece jobs. And when I would look at him, I had never pictured myself dating him because he was like a broke guy. And when at that time I was someone who was considered to be very hot in our location, and I considered myself also to be very beautiful. And my rule was that I only dated guys that had money, like hard cash, because I was like hot. So this guy, he would always come to our shop, then he would speak with me. And whenever he would come, somehow when he would be speaking with me, I would always avoid eye contact with him. Like there was something that was making me not to look at him directly into his eyes. I don't know why, but there was this other day, he came like always to our shop, and I was the one who was selling at that shop. My mom was busy and he wanted to buy something. So as we were speaking, after he had said that he wanted to give me money so that I can buy something for myself, that was when I just looked at him. And when I had eye contact with him, I then fell in love. The things that I started to feel for this guy, it was not normal at all, because I didn't consider him to be attractive, never, even in a million years. This guy, when I looked at him directly into his eyes for the first time, there was something about his eyes that attracted you to him. It seemed as if his face will change and it will become like a beautiful woman. Yes, it sounds so confusing, but this is what I saw when I looked at him at that time. It was like his face had changed. He had a face of an angel. It was just confusing. But anyway, I fell in love with him. The moment that I fell in love with him, that was when I started noticing that this guy, he was using me, but I could not stop it because I was more like his prisoner now. He started telling me that I was supposed to give him money, which was not normal. I was the one who was used to have guys competing against each other, giving me money, then choosing the one who had a deep pocket. First of all, I considered someone who was beautiful being chased after rich guys. Then this poor guy comes along, and the confidence and his arrogance to just tell me that you have to give me money. After sleeping with me, he would ask me, how much are you going to give me? And when I would refuse to give him money, then he will just say, okay, it's fine, let me go to my place, or you will kick me out. Oh my God, the arrogance. This guy, he was staying like in a very small mukuku, not trying to say that the people that stay in the mukuku, they are not good people, but this guy, he was like dead broke. And to think that I would leave my comfortable bed to be with him, and after him making love to me for free without any protection, he would ask me how much I was willing to give him. And if I would say, money for what now? Then he will say, okay, return back to your place. And I'll start to cry, my brother. I would cry throughout the night begging him not to kick me out of his small back room, because the love that I felt for him, it was not normal, it was abnormal. You could sense that this person, he was just controlling me as if I was a zombie. He was the one who was in control of the relationship. Anything that he wanted, I would actually go and do it for him. So many nights I would be with guys that I never loved, guys that I knew very well that they were sick. I would go and sleep with them, especially the older guys, the rich ones, so that they can give me money. After the guys would have given me the money, I'll quickly rush to this guy's house the next morning and I will beg for mercy, for him to take me back, to love me again. And he will just collect the money from me, not even a thank you. And if he will just kiss me, I would feel as if this is the most wonderful man in the whole world. If it happens that he does not invite me to his place, I would feel as if something terrible has happened to me. This guy, the bed that he used to sleep on, it was like an old bed. Even the mattress, it was really smelly, because before this guy had started staying at the place where he was staying, this mattress, it was always kept outdoors by the landlord, and the dogs at that house, they used to sleep on top of that mattress. So this guy, when he started staying at this place, he then took that mattress. He was sleeping on that smelly mattress. But my brother, I even found myself cleaning this mattress just to impress him. Me and this guy, when we were sleeping on that old bed, it was very painful, such that when I would try to do woman on top, it was painful, because the springs that are in the mattress, some of them, they were sticking out and they will give you so much pain. But when I will be at my parents' house, sleeping alone in my comfortable bed, then I will start to miss this guy with his smelly bed. The way that I'll miss him, I'll find myself crying. If we could go for a day without seeing each other, then what would happen is that I'll start to have panic attacks. I would have these chest pains, and they would only stop after this guy would have come to our place. Then we can be together. That is when I'll feel so much happiness. And I still do not understand how this guy was using his charms on me. It was like I was a zombie to me. It was like I was a zombie to him. He did whatever he wanted with me. And at the same time, he knew that I was dating guys that were wealthy. And one thing that I noticed about this guy, whenever we would have an argument, his defense was always, baby, look at me, into my eyes. Even when I would feel that I am exhausted, I do not want to be with him anymore, the moment that he would say, look at me, and when I'll be looking at him, it's like he hypnotized me. Then I'll start to smile at him. Then we will start to make love, even when I would feel that I do not love this broke guy anymore. And there was a time when there was this other Indian guy who had came to our location. He had opened up this other hardware. So this guy, when he saw me, we started dating, because I was just chasing after rich guys, and I knew how to control these rich guys and to seduce them. This Indian man, he also fell into my trap, and then we started dating. After I had started dating this Indian guy, he took me to his place one night for a sleepover. You know that those Indians, they do not like bank their money. They just keep the money in their houses. When we were I found out that this Indian guy, in his house, like in the hallway, there are some tilings, and in the middle of the hallway, he used to remove these two tiles, and after he would have removed the tiles, then there was like a safe that was in the floor, such that you will never suspect anything. And when I was with my boyfriend from Zim, I don't know, I ended up telling him everything that I had seen, the money. The guy then said, we are going to get rich. We need to get this money. And I said, no, we are not going to rob this guy, because I do not want to get arrested. The guy, he was always angry when I would disagree with him. This guy, what he did, is that there was a time when he was on top of me and he looked at me and I saw that his face changed and it became like a snake and I got so terrified. But he always handled me with his charms such that I will keep on doing whatever he wanted me to do for him. And as for that Indian guy, he told me that he wanted me to steal some money from that guy, but I kept on refusing until he woke up one day when I was at his place and he went into this other corner where he had this bag which he claimed to have brought it with him from Zim when he came to our country. So this guy, he removed some other charms that were inside that small bag that he had, and these charms, they were inside a container. So he came to the bed again and he showed me the charms that were inside that container, then rubbed the powder on my forehead, and he told me that if I would go and take the money from this Indian guy, the Indian guy was not going to realize that I had actually stolen some money from him. And I then went and I started to steal the money from that Indian guy, and the Indian guy would not even notice me. Whenever I was with him at his house for a sleepover, he would sleep as if he is a dead man. Then I would steal the money and hide it in my bag. I kept on giving this guy a lot of money until he ended up buying a taxi with the money that I was giving him. I mean, like, this was a guy who was just going around doing your garden services with a lawnmower, but he saved enough money to buy a taxi. Then there was a day when I was crying, when I was missing this boyfriend of mine. Then my friend came, and when she came to our house, she just didn't tell me that she was coming to visit me. So my mom then led her straight into my bedroom. And when she found me crying, and when I told her that, show me the reason as to why I am crying, it is because of this guy, the one that always comes to your house to do some piece jobs. And she was like, how, what, show me? You mean with your level and your class, you are crying for that guy? What is he giving you? So my friend thought that maybe I was getting like your good sex, but it was just normal sex that I was having with this guy. But there was something that was controlling me, like a parasite that had been inserted into my heart that was thinking for me, and I was just like a slave of love. Yes, that is what I was. I was nothing but a slave of love to this guy. My friend tried to give me advice and told me that this was not the game plan. The game plan was to move out of the location and to end up in the suburbs. So why was I downgrading myself, dating this foreign guy? If he was a rich foreigner, then she was going to understand. But a foreign guy with nothing, nothing, no means to give me any money at all. He was just poor and struggling. But this is where I had found myself. This guy, he kept on forcing me to ask for money from these blessers that I was dating. Even the other guy who loved me a lot, who even claimed that he wanted to make me his wife. But my brother, the guy, then complained one day and he said, the way that you ask for money, I think that you are just a gold digger. And that is how I lost that relationship, because I was always chasing after men that would give me money so that I can return and give my boyfriend from Zim this money. What pains me the most is that this guy, he then started operating for what pains me the most is that when this guy started his business of transporting some groceries from South Africa and people returning them to his country, Zim, he then bought a Toyota Hilux, but I was still assisting him when I would get money from my blessers. When he bought that car, he dumped me, Brother Nashi, and he started staying in another area. And I heard that he was now dating another woman who is a traffic cop, from what I heard. So I think that he found out that the woman has more money than I have. There was a point in my life when I wanted to go to that woman's house so that I can kill her, to find her. I was so much in love, and I blamed myself and I blamed that woman who had stolen my boyfriend. I started to starve myself to death because I believed that I was the one who had wronged my boyfriend from Zim. But with time, we then went to church, me and my friend. Whilst we were at church, like I had a terrible headache because of the stress. I even had drank grandpa during the service. Then there was a time when the pastor said that he wanted to pray for the sick people that were at church on that day. So I got up and I said, let me go in and get myself prayed to by this pastor. And when the pastor was about to pray for me, he then said to the guys that were playing the instruments and the praise and worship to stop whatever that they were doing, because he wanted the whole church to hear what he was about to say. He then asked me if I had any connection with anyone from across the Limpopo. So I then started to think about these men that I had dated from Zim. The pastor then said that he was seeing that in the spiritual realm, I was actually married off to a grave, and he said that this grave, I can see that this grave, it is not a normal grave. This grave, it is not like in a graveyard where we expect a grave to be. He said that this grave, it is like in a forest, and it seems as if the person that is in that grave, that is buried in that grave, the person was a victim of ritual murder. So I was married off to that person who was killed off when he was killed for murder and his body parts removed, and I had a soul tie to that person that was buried in that grave. This guy from Zim, he had done his rituals and married me off to the spirit of that person that they had buried in that forest. The pastor then asked everyone that was in church to pray for me as he was praying for me. The moment that the whole church started to pray, I then fell to the ground and I started to roll over as the demons were like coming out of my body. Then I just blacked out. I don't know what happened next. When I woke up, I was lying in a pool of my own vomit. I vomited so much, my brother. And the stuff that I vomited out, it was like your white stuff. And there were people in church who even said that they had seen some creatures that were coming out of me at the time when I was vomiting. After the deliverance service, after the deliverance had been done on me, I then felt that strange love that I felt for this man disappearing out of my heart. Even that woman whom I had that she is the one who had stolen my boyfriend, I felt that the hatred that I had for her, it just started to go away. I felt so much sadness for her because I knew that she had taken my place. She was now the prisoner and I had been released. I had been rescued by God from this man. So when I had some of the confessions, I then started to think about my own life history. This thing had happened to me soon after we had finished our matric. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. Strange things do happen in this world. Our dear sister was saying that she is from TikTok. If you are also on TikTok, please feel free to like whatever page that is posting our confessions, and also tell us the name of that page so that we'll give it also a thumbs up, because it is also helping other people out there. Strange things do happen in this world.